Hi, hello, and good evening. I'm sorry if you can't see me very well, but hopefully you will be able to hear what I'm saying. Now, a few years ago for Lent, I read the After series. The reason I did that was because there was a huge hype of the books and the movie After that was made before lockdown, and then there was a rush to make the others during COVID. So I decided to embark on the mission of reading all of the After series books. Wouldn't be my video without a yawn for Lent, and I did a review about them. I may even consider going back and redoing that review. I don't know yet, it's undecided. But one of the things that seems to be happening a lot lately, whether it's because they're running out of ideas or, it's just easier to reinvent the wheel. A lot of books are being adapted to become movies or series. And one of the most popular ones at this moment in time is Testaments, which Margaret Atwood did not even consider writing until after her book Handmaid's Tale what became so successful that not only was it made into a movie, which a lot of people may not be aware of, but it then got made into a series. And the series, in my opinion, was absolutely brilliant. It showed different aspects of the book and was able to stretch out the storyline. However, what people have to realise is that when something is adapted from the original text, things will change because of what they call poetic licensing. And there has already been a huge hype of people not being happy with some of the changes that have been made in Testaments. Now, I've never read The Handmaid's Tale and I've never read Testaments, but I am aware of both books. And some people are obviously for the changes that have been made, and some people are against the changes that have been made. And I think, at the end of the day, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But it is absolutely amazing to think how much even stories about people's lives, when they say based on a true story or based on somebody's life, are so different. And one of the things I always try and encourage my children to do is watch the fantasy, but then learn about the reality of what really happened. And sometimes you don't want to do that, because one of the main things that has shattered my childhood is The Sound of Music. I was an absolute fan of The Sound of Music as a child. But when I found out the real truth about the Von Trapp family, I have not been able to watch that movie ever again. So it is shocking to think that, some childhood fantasy of a nun marrying a captain in the Austrian Navy tried to flee persecution of the Nazis when they invaded Austria by taking her children across the Alps to Switzerland, aided by nuns. It just sounds too good to be true. And sadly, it is. So sometimes, you don't always want to know the truth. And sometimes you do. And episode 9 is one of those episodes. I don't want to say what happens, but you're bound to find out because there's so many spoilers online and there's so many people complaining about it. Because I hadn't read the book, I think the way that they've done episode 9 is really good. And it's been done quite sensitively as well. And it wasn't rushed. It was very slow pacing, and the characters that are portrayed by the people that are acting them are doing a fantastic job, because in Testament, as opposed to The Handmaid's Tale, it's a lot more of a younger cast. So the majority of the cast in Testament are women, but they are young women. Whereas in A Handmaid's Tale, it's more mature women. And you're seeing the world through women's eyes. So there is very little with regards to men, even though Gilead is supposed to be a very male-orientated, very male-dominated society. You don't really see that in The Handmaid's Tale, and you don't really see that in Testament. What you do see is the girls growing up to become women, and how women are the key vocal point within Gilead. Because without the women, there would be no Gilead. So I just thought I would do a quick video and put it online. And if you want to make any comments, please do so. The book that I am currently reading with my son, we've got 3 on the go now. We are reading Mutant Zombies Ruined My School Trip. I can't remember the author. I'm reading Lady and the Unicorn by Tracy Chevalier. Again, I've already read it, and I'm reading it again. And now I am also reading The Cider House Rules, and I absolutely love that film. But just by reading the first chapter, which I've been doing on Audible, now that I've become visually impaired, the amount of chapter 1 that was just completely cut out of the movie. I mean, it's supposed to take something like 25 hours estimated on Audible to read the book. So I can see why they shortened the first chapter. But it was quite shocking to think, so much was taken away. So it'd be interesting to see how much of the book Wouldn't It Be My Video Without a Yawn was actually used in the movie adaptation of The Cider House Rules. Even the opening chapter and what it is about, it's one of those books that I think after I've read it, I would definitely say to people, read it. But it's not going to be for the faint-hearted, because the main thing that Cider House Rules is actually about is about abortion. And it's interesting that it doesn't sugarcoat it. From the first few lines of reading the book, it tells you exactly what it is. Whereas obviously Handmaid's Tale and Testaments, they are against abortion, and they're all about preserving life. They're all about, bringing back civilization. And the only way they can do that, so they think, is by keeping women in gilded cages or in some other form of bondage. No pun intended there. But what the women forget to realise, I think, is they're the ones with the power at the end of the day. It's not the men. And they've got to realise that. And like I said, I don't know how Testament ends. And I don't know whether she's going to even consider writing another book. So I'm going to sign off now and enjoy your evening.